So, Councillor David Tutt, if you'd like to come up and say the final closing remarks.
Well, I've been looking forward to this event. I had very high expectations of it, and I've got to say I wasn't disappointed. Those expectations have been exceeded today. I'll not take too much of your time in closing because you've given generously of your time today, but just want to draw one or two things out. I listened very carefully to all of the debates. Ollie, when you started, you said your organisation started as an activist organisation. I think that's to be applauded. But what's to be applauded even more is once you've got the attention of your target audience, you're working with them, not against them, to achieve shared aims. And one of the things we all need to do, and we all are doing, and that's what's so wonderful about this event, is we're working together on shared objectives, and that's the way we'll achieve them. I've learnt a lot. I said I'd learn a lot. I learnt a lot. I've learnt from Joe a lot about older houses. I've got an older house myself, so I've learnt about what I should do there. I've learnt about battery storage. I've learnt from Richard about energy co-ops, and I've got to say I hadn't thought of investing in energy co-ops, but I will do now, so thank you very much for that. We've talked a lot about energy, and there's been a tremendous amount of positive human energy in this room. So thank you very much for that. It is about partnership. Chamber of Commerce, Christina, and the business community input is just so welcome and so important if we're going to achieve our objectives. A few thanks to Jill, to Andy, to Robert for organising the event. Please stand up and take a bow, and can we give them a round of applause? Thank you to Jim for chairing. Thank you to all of our speakers who are contributors. I'm not going to name you all individually because it would take too long, but your input is really so valuable and so welcome. Thank you to you as an audience for giving up your time, for being here, for attending. Let's turn this into an annual event, and let's go out on a high and galvanise our community. Thank you very much.
We're just going to a final word from our MP, Caroline Ansell.
So very nearly. It's Friday. I completely understand. And actually, I'd have to say that at the close of today, I understand so very much more. I understand my part to play in this. I understand the power of partnerships. And I think what's really struck me is the ingenuity of humanity, if you will. Apparently it was the 8th century BC when people first captured solar rays to light fires. Amazing. And today we're looking at space-based solar generation. But I think some of the things that have really caught my imagination today is that looking to nature for the solution. So I was really taken with the heliotropic panels that moved with the sun. That's going to be one of my takeaways. That, and the fact that 1 hour of sunlight beamed on the earth could supply a year of global energy supply. Amazing. Also learnt that solar can be beautiful, according to Naked Energy and Mitchell, and take on many forms, from Richard in Poly Solar. 40%. I had no idea the scale and scope and potential of community cooperative energy generation. And as we have more than 50 churches and church buildings in Eastbourne, that somewhere like Salisbury can even play a part in the solar landscape. I think the blue house from Joe and Ecotecture really struck a chord with me. And this is something I spoke with partners in Parliament about. If we could get those devices and go street by street, a little bit like they do with TV licenses, but not so scary and intimidating, but if we could demonstrate, if we could show what it means around energy loss and insulation, I think we would radically change hearts and minds there. That blue house, really striking. I was dismayed to see a question that housed the paradox of a B&B closing for a number of months because of the cost of energy bills in a town where we will rise and fall on our visitors, and we need to build a 365 economy. So that's something really important for me to have seen and to have understood. Speaking to Ollie, I'll be taking up the cause on the local electricity bill. And I think Shalane's words around what does the best sustainable practice looks like, it looks the same today as it will in 5 years' time. That real authenticity, hugely, hugely important. Ian, who spoke to us earlier about the power, the combined power of those councils working together, that tells a story about how we're going to change the world. And it is working together in partnership. Local government, national government, business, community, hand in glove is how we're going to change things. So I'm really clear going forward about the very great potential. And the organisers today, I commend you for bringing people together and for helping to create the blueprint for how we reach for this better, brighter future. And I have many takeaways. I have one message to leave, and that is from Sharm el-Sheikh and from the Minister for Energy and Climate Change, Graham Stewart. And I think this probably reflects my own lobbying in Parliament. His message to you today. Eastbourne has more sunny days than anywhere else, he says. So I've clearly landed that particular message with him. So more sunny days than anywhere else. He's seen the programme and he knows something of the policy levers we've spoken of today, the need for investment, the need for change around planning. He's seen some of that as I've relayed it to him. And so he says, today, you have shown that you have the energy in Eastbourne, not just the sunny days, but the energy in Eastbourne to drive forward towards that green transition in a way that is good for the environment, good for local jobs, and good for the community. And I congratulate and commend you, he says. So I'll leave on that note that national, local government, community and business, we can do this. And I think today has demonstrated all that lies ahead, and it's within our reach. So thank you for a very inspiring day. And I think in questions, we were just starting. So I hope the title of this conference was 2022. I hope there'll be a 2023. It's been a most excellent event, and thank you to everybody.
Caroline. Just one final word from me. My role as a councillor, I'm also chair of planning. My biggest concern is that we're not getting enough solar panels up onto the roof. So seeing this conference here today is perfect for me. Our doors are open. Just ask. We want to say yes to everybody. Okay, so that's where we're going with this conference. Final words to Jill and Robert. It's really important that we get feedback on this, so they're just going to tell you a little bit about how we're going to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, just before I do that, I would also like to thank our three sponsors for the day, GK Monk, CDS Electrical and Go Green Sustainability. And if anybody wants to sponsor us latterly, we did have to go over budget when we discovered how hungry you were all at lunchtime. We had to order some extra biscuits, which we haven't funded yet. But one of the things that was very important when we were planning what to do today is that we didn't want it just to be people coming together, listening to a few words and then going away and carrying on as normal. We really, really do want to find ways to keep momentum going. And feedback is therefore very important to us. So if we've got your email addresses, which we don't have for everybody because some people were booked by other people, we will be sending you a feedback request, and we want your ideas in that, the things that you want to do, the help that you need, and suggestions. We'd like all of that. So that QR code will take you straight to our feedback form if you feel like doing it now, or just grab it so that you can do it later. But we will also try and attempt to do that by email, but we know we won't reach you all.
So I just want to start sort of one evening, perhaps it was in lockdown, I forget, but I was sort of browsing on Google Earth and looking down at Eastbourne, this sort of expansive town that we know, 100,000 people that spread out over a large area, and of course is the sunniest in the UK. And I couldn't help noticing these sort of huge areas of sort of sheds, these tin sheds, these 3 large industrial and retail estates, and none of them in the shots I was looking at seemed to have any solar PV on at all. And that just struck me as very odd in 2021 to not even be sort of talking about that, and that we should try and do something as a group to sort of bring people together to at least address this issue and perhaps make some progress on it, and not sort of understand why it's proving so difficult. So I think we've gone a long way today to sort of answering some of those questions and finding solutions to Solar Summit, to making Eastbourne a sort of more solar-oriented town. And of course, it's nothing new. I found some wonderful old posters that you'll see around that the council had in their archives. And of course, Eastbourne was well known as being a sort of sunny place, and it was often marketed as the sun trap of the south. And I suspect that the council may be missing a trick or two, and they may be able to sort of, in the future, make Eastbourne the sort of centre of solar technology or something, and perhaps even start manufacturing panels and all sorts of things in this town. So we'll see.
Thank you. So thank you all very much for coming along. I'm hoping that you've all had a good day. To see so many of you still here at the end of the day instills me with positivity. And hopefully we'll see you all next year.